In this one, let's take a look at Avid and find out if there are any main differences between the PC version and the Mac version. The user interface all looks the same. Okay, again, other than the basic control versus command on a Mac and alt versus option on a, which is what the PC uses, there's minor thing up here. In the file menu up here, if I want on the Mac, it does say Avid Media Composer, but here you just click on File and you go to Settings here, which is important to know where that is. We know what the format of this project is. There's certain things about the project settings, but the more important thing is the user settings. Okay. And so this is pretty straightforward. There's not that much difference how the keyboard is set up and all that. All the keystrokes are pretty much the same. The layout is the same. User interface is the same. So there shouldn't be that much confusion adapting my Mac-based tutorials to a PC. But there is a slight issue when, depending on your computer, this one does have QuickTime Load, I believe. And so if I were to import, let's just say on my desktop, I do have the Flex Elements, and I select the running footage. It's going to put on the C drive. The video resolution default DV25411 is fine. I hit open, and the warning is that the file format, the Flex Running Movie, is not supported for import. So what can we do about that? So I do it again, input. Now I go to the source browser, and rather than import, I'm going to try linking. And so again, on the desktop, Flex Elements, Flex Running Movie, I hit link and comes right in, no problem. Okay, so if I double click on this, and is that totally wrong? No, it's just there is a conversion of this footage to make it work on the PC from the QuickTime. And if I hit B to make my first edit, I'm just putting in this bin right now. But when I ever see a clip that has this little box that says T, S, and C, it means that it's making a real-time conversion to make it work in this project. There's a lot of things going on as far as color, frame rates, and all that, but it works. The limitations of that is that as we get into more elaborate effects and stuff, in this specific case on the Flex project, we're getting into time warp. So I'm going to my effects palette here, click on time warp, put the time warp onto the clip, which is how my tutorial asks you to do it, and says the effect does not apply. What this really means is that the clip itself already is affected by this difference of linking it in. So whenever you're adding another effect, and this is on the Mac also, onto a clip that already has an effect, or you get that does not apply idea, on the PC I'm going to hold Alt down and drag time warp and throw it on, and then no problem, as it were. Okay, so how do we know that? So I go to my effect mode here, click on that, and so already it says that there's a color adapter already on it, and that there's a frame flex, which is changing all sorts of things, which I'll leave alone for the moment. But how do I get to the time warp? So it didn't do that. So I'm on this case, in this specific case, I'm going to Tools and go to the Motion Effect Editor. And when I do that, and this is something which on a Mac one does not have to do, I see that there is something here, but it's all grayed out. The best thing you can do is promote. So you have to promote to time warp, and now the effect comes into play. And what this is, and if you haven't gotten to this part yet, this is normal speed at 100%, or actually it's at 80% because it made an adjustment already for us. and I want this to speed up, I can pump in 300% here, hit enter, and now it's sped up. So the effect does work. There's just one added step one has to do, and that's okay as long as you know what that is. Okay, so I just did a little speed change here from 300 back down to 80. There it is. So the first part is fast, and then fast, slow, and then I can make it go even slower. And bring it down to about there. Fast, medium, slow. Okay, so it does work. You can make it work. So then the last thing is outputting, exporting. So I'm going to just say, okay, I'm going to close this effect here. And exporting on the PC, it's not much different. I make sure I select, in this case, just this one shot. I select the sequence. I don't have any ins or outs on it. So I go File, Output, Export to File. And again, so where I'm going to save it, I'm going to save it to my desktop, easier to find. The file name, I'm going to name this Flex Demo 1, and then the export setting, I'm going to click on this, and in my tutorial I say fast export QuickTime NTSC. Let's see if it does it. I always check options to make sure. It says use marks, use selected tracks. I'll turn those off. And export as an MOV, which is a QuickTime movie. The best part is that it has a H.264 codec here. Okay, so I guess I like to think this. Okay, I'm going to save as, and I'm going to call this H.264 MOV. I hit OK to save this export setting, and there it is. And let's see if it'll let me do it. And it does. Exports the file, boom, minimize, desktop, Flex Demo 1 movie. Whoa, that's not right. There's something, okay, let me check my setting on the export. Let's go back to Avid. Click on the timeline. This looks fine here. It may be some setting I'm not clear on. Export to file. Let's go back to options. Oh, here it is. I think when I was doing something, I might have nicked that. So aspect ratio 60:9, H.264, save as, okay. And this is going to be called Flex Demo 1. I delete the previous one. Okay, that was me, not the computer, I believe. Here's the real one. There you go. Okay. Okay, I thought I deleted it, but let's delete the previous one. So this is fine. It was just my mouse just brushed against a weird setting. Okay, here we go. Made it 9:16. There it is. Okay, so it works. And you can send that to me. Okay.